What's up, folks? It's Kenny Wallace here. I'm a conservative activist, blogger, videographer. I'm here to kind of talk about some events that are happening this week and my own little special commentary. You can check out my YouTube channel here. It's Keep Arkansas Legal. It has a little K there in the corner. And this is one of many videos. Also check out this other channel called YouTube. It's a conservative alternative to YouTube. And there's kind of a picture of Jan Morgan, a conservative activist who should have been made governor of Arkansas. And this kind of leads into the first event that I'm going to talk about. On Monday, tomorrow, August 13th, will be a Arkansas Gubernatorial Forum on Children and Families. There's several groups that kind of hosted this event. I believe Family Council is probably the main one. There's other groups here, and they're going to talk about. They're going to have a 90-minute forum on children and family issues. Now, this will include Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, as well as Democrat Jared Henderson and Libertarian Mark West. Now, I call this a forum in quotation marks because I don't believe that this will be an area where they'll be having two microphones and people will be allowed, the audience will be allowed to speak. If it is, I greatly would appreciate it because that's really the best type of forum to have. We need those are the real events we need, kind of like the town halls that happened under when Obamacare was first being proposed, where you got to hear what people wanted to speak from you got to hear from audience members what they speak, and it wasn't filtered by the media. It wasn't the agendas that the media wanted to set up, but issues that people were able to bring up. So I put in here as a picture of this, the picture of children that were killed by illegal alien crime, which is one of those issues that I wish would be brought up more, but probably won't be. We recently just had a club here called Club Troy's or Trios down in Little Rock that was giving drinks to underage kids, and apparently had some of them were now being held by ICE. And the media, for some reason, seemed to care more about the status of the illegal aliens and whether they're being separated by their families than by how this club was affecting the community there. But anyway, that's Monday, August 13th from 6:30 to 8. I will be there. I will live stream and film this event. So you can watch that from the comfort of your own home or from your phone. But it is better to go to these events. Try to be there in person, make show of force, try to advocate your own views with people. Sadly, these events should be more popular than they are. Of course, governors have an incredible power. They can decide a lot of issues. We have some governors go on to become presidents. Some of the governors we have now, even some of the Republican ones, are actually fighting against the Trump agenda. And so instead of focusing on Stormy Daniels or trying to be some foreign policy expert and comment on North Korea, you really need to be focused on your local politics. And that brings me to the next event on Tuesday, August the 14th. There will be primary elections in Minnesota, Connecticut, Vermont, and Wisconsin. If you know anybody in those areas, call them up, text them, email them, Facebook them, let them know that these elections are going on. The primary elections in Arkansas were abysmal, 18% voter turnout. And that's what led to us being represented by currently a rhino who has sabotaged everything from open carry to continuing Obamacare Medicaid expansion. This, by the way, is a lady who I think should have won, Jan Morgan. And this is one of my videos on YouTube where she testified against the Good Old Boy Network, and they were sabotaging campus carry. Campus carry was a real simple bill where if you already got a permission-ship to carry a gun on you in public, then you should be able to do the same thing when you go onto a campus. Now, I believe it only even applied to faculty members. And what happened was the Arkansas cabal, the Good Old Boy Network of public educators who are mainly leftists, along with the help of Asa Hutchinson, sabotaged that bill to require enhanced training, so now it takes extra time, and they kind of forced the NRA to make that to deal with them, negotiate those terms, and then after the NRA left and there was a big press conference, they even added more terms to where some of these leftist universities could opt out if they submitted a security proposal to a certain group of people, so basically, campuses for the most part are still what I call mass shooter easy target zones or gun-free zones. But anyway, back to my main event point there. Tuesday, those primaries are happening. There's a lot of state officials, local officials, sheriffs, all have lots of power and things that they can do regarding your rights on so many issues. You can't vote for Trump. You can't even vote for the members of Congress, but you can vote for those groups. And if you don't like both parties, just remember this isn't the actual choice, so you're not choosing the lesser of two evils. You can choose, if you're a libertarian or whatever, independent, you can still go out there and make the difference in some of these people getting in the office. Some of these elections, because they do have low turnout, a handful of libertarians could decide, could help kick a rhino out and replace him with somebody else. One of the greatest examples of is Eric Cantor, who was big rhino, one of the biggest, most powerful Republicans, and he was replaced by a conservative activist, I believe was a college professor. He got out there, a handful of activists, he were outspent ridiculously by several $1 million to one, and he managed to come back and beat them. But we need more of those events happening. Hoping that Chris Kobach wins the election there in Kansas. I haven't actually checked out the voter turnout list. But anyway, that's happening Tuesday. Also on Tuesday, a special election in Rogers, Arkansas. They're going to, the local city there, along with their Chamber of Commerce, is trying to sneak in another tax increase. And like these other tax increases that you see, what they do is they take police and fire and street repair, and they deliberately neglect them, and then they suddenly have to do this tax increase because the police and fire station's falling apart, and of course these stupid pet projects are attached to that, and they're all in one big bundle. And that's the same thing here with this plan. The election in Rogers on August 14th will be a 1% sales tax increase on top of all the other taxes they do. And I believe there are 3 different parks and about 7 different walk trails that they're funding with this. And of course it is scheduled in this time instead of November the 6th to minimize voter turnout. So if you know anybody in the city of Rogers, a handful of you can make the difference in this. I actually managed to defeat a tax increase of $107 million tax increase that was defeated by 8 votes. Now later on they were able to redo that tax increase. They only needed $93 million then, and they were able to pass it. But vote this tax increase down if you're in that area, and urge others to do the same. If you're not in that area, let folks know. That's kind of what I'm doing. There is an organization called Americans for Prosperity that does phone banking on these tax increases, and they've helped defeat some other tax increases as well. They are doing phone banking on this as well. But yeah, contact people by any means, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Gab, which is an alternative to Twitter, and let them know. Now the big issue that I want to talk about, it's coming up this week, is Thursday, 1 p.m. to about 3 p.m., most likely going to be 2 p.m., is the Baphomet statue supporters are going to be at the Arkansas State Capitol to support the placing of a Baphomet statue. The Baphomet statue has become for more lack of a better term, the official symbol of the Church of Satan. And the reason they are trying to put this here is that earlier the Arkansas State Legislature in the last session put up a 10 Commandments monument. Now that original monument, for those who don't know, was smashed by an insane guy, I believe the name of Richard Reed, who should have never been out of jail. He actually vandalized the 10 Commandments statue in Oklahoma. I believe he was involved in a suicide incident in the mall, at a mall, and then came over here and did this and has done another insane acts. And of course the anti-Christian folks greatly, for the most part, supported him. There were a few people that did condemn him for his actions, but they supported him. But in any event, the people that placed the 10 Commandments there were able to provide more funding to put another monument, and that monument is still currently there. The anti-Christian group that are opposed to the Ten Commandments, of course, have tried to file lawsuits and tried to lobby and testify to keep the monument from being placed there. They weren't able to do so, so now what they want to do is what they succeeded in doing in Oklahoma, which is threaten to put a satanic statue there, which would basically force the legislator and the people that run the Capitol grounds there to have to basically ban all religious monuments, which is in their end goal. And so what I have here is just kind of a video of a little bit of kind of the attitude of these people. I'm just going to play this here.
I work at a law firm, and I'm a musician, so I'm not really speaking in the day. But I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no gods except me on the Capitol grounds. You want a Baphomet statue because that's how you get a Baphomet statue.
You're supposed to pretend to be funny there. It's supposed to be a man. I believe it's from the cartoon Archie.
It's just on the other side of the railroad track. Our neighborhood here in Little Rock is mixed. It's mixed racially, economically, politically, religious affiliation. The city is multicultural. We value different viewpoints and beliefs. There's no one religion we should have preference for, and this Ten Commandment statue, if erected by itself, represents just that, a preference.
Now, he's basically saying that because there's multiple religions and races and everything else, that you can't preference a religion. I actually have news for him. He's actually wrong. As a matter of fact, for nearly 2 centuries, Christian monuments and customs and beliefs were allowed in government areas. Prayer was allowed in schools, including Harvard, which had been established even before the United States of America as a Bible college. The Ten Commandments were placed in Capitol ground areas across this nation. Chaplains, of course, are present in legislative bodies. And of course, this was the nation where cultures were allowed to grow and other religions were allowed to be freer here than almost anywhere in the world. But this is kind of the attitude they have, is that this is kind of the new angle they're using to prevent Christian monuments from being returned back to government areas. Because remember, as I said before, it really wasn't until the late 60s when legal action, judicial activism done mainly by the ACLU to remove Christian monuments was done, that the so-called precedent for not having religious monuments on government areas was established. So, yeah, they did succeed in basically removing the Ten Commandments from the Oklahoma state Capitol grounds by using this tactic, and they think that they're going to do the same here. However, the Arkansas monument has had some changes to it. One of which is that anybody can propose to put a monument on a Capitol grounds if they can pass it in the state legislature. It's not like there are different ways of proposing to putting monuments on. There was a different process before. But that was one of the laws that was changed, is that, look, you have the ability to lobby for Charles Tucker, who's running for now Congress, but is still a state legislature, or Joyce Elliott, or Linda Chesterfield, or some of these other state legislators could propose to put a satanic monument or another monument. I don't know if the atheists have a monument or not, but to put one like that to basically desecrate the state capitol, and politically to force in a political sense to remove the Ten Commandments from the grounds. But most likely what they're going to do is, in the end, use judicial activists, probably federal Judge Karen Baker, to try to force the Capitol Grounds Commission to allow a satanic statue to be placed on there. In order to do that, they would basically have to somehow nullify or remove the law that states the process for putting a statue on the state Capitol grounds is to go through the state legislature. I don't know how they're going to do that, because under the 10th Amendment, our Capitol grounds should be, handled by our state government. the First Amendment is Congress shall not establish a religion or prevent the free exercise thereof. This is not Congress establishing a religion or preventing the free exercise thereof. You can put your satanic statue on your own grounds, or you can, you still can walk in as a Buddhist or as a Muslim or whoever onto the Arkansas state capitol. There's tourists that go there all the time. The illegal alien protesters were just there recently. They actually covered the Ten Commandments with the phrase, "the love thy neighbor," which of course Jesus was meant was individuals helping each other, not the government allowing criminals to enter the country and harm others. But I digress. At any event, that's kind of the big event that's happening Thursday at 1. As I said before, I'll try to film this event. I'm not sure what is going to happen here. In some of these events, especially if Antifa shows up, they could become violent. Most likely they'll have groups of people speaking in front of the state capitol steps, unless it rains, and just it'll be the rotunda. And so sound could be a little bit off. Live stream could be a little bit shaky. But the point is that if you're actually someone who believes in the original founding of this nation, you need to show up at these events. State your case. Stand against these people. They're perpetuating a lie. And the media often helps perpetuate that lie. A recent article about this from THV11 made some kind of stupid statement about how religion is not supposed to be preferred, or to some effect. And I made a comment on Facebook that's not true. But anyway. And also, if you want to get educated about this, you can visit my YouTube page where I talk about this. I actually testified in this very meeting, and I should have posted that there. But if you Arkansas 10 Commandments, you can see where I testified on this. And I'll post links to these as well, but
I was not aware that if you sign up for the complaints, I would not complain because I'm not part of the neighborhood culture. Ten Commandments, those Christianity were part of the founding of this nation. Let's be honest about that. That's the mentioned before, the monuments that were laid all over several government buildings. And it was there for almost a century until the anti-Christian left, the anti-law students removed them from our schools and removed the prayer and the Ten Commandments from the government.
so I was better dressed. I actually have a 10 Commandments tie somewhere. Didn't feel like wearing it today. But there should be a lot more people here. We have so many people that go to church that need to go to these type of events. And sadly, we have some people that call themselves Christians that are actually part of this, keep Christianity in churches type items, which, by the way, is being done. Is, by the way, the standard practice in many communist countries back then and even today, even under Stalin's time. Church was allowed, but it was only allowed under certain circumstances. Stalin went to church. Hitler, for a long time, would allow the churches to exist, but only under the confines that they didn't criticize the government. And China has actually started that today. They're starting to persecute what they call home churches, or churches that don't have a quote-unquote permit, which I wish would be brought up in the gubernatorial debate, as to our current governor has given, I believe, $50 million to the Chinese to a Chinese billionaire to help with a paper mill and create quote-unquote jobs.
I know the joke is, well, if you support the Ten Commandments, then you should put it on your grounds. I like those who are opposed to the kind of don't want God or any form of religion or government to hand over all the dollar bills. check out footage of this and other issues on the YouTube account, Keep Arkansas Legal, as well as Arkansas Tea Party. I urge you to pass this legislation, support it. And I also let to remind folks that the Supreme Court is likely to change due to these national elections, as well as all of the other federal courts. Anyway, I see that my time is almost up, so
I think this was done right. I can't remember if this was done right before or after Trump was elected. Oh, this was done after Trump was elected. Oh. So anyway. Oh crap. Anyway, we need more people to come out and speak. That's kind of a way you can take it now. You can go to Keep Arkansas Legal, type in Arkansas 10 Commandments, and you'll see all kinds of footage from there. Also go to Wall Builders, which has a great resource on the true founding of this country before the left bastardized it with their judicial activism. And anyway, that's about it. So, like I said, like, share, and comment, like I said in this video, and spread the word.